Hello, everyone, either for joining in live or watching this replay. I'm super happy that you're here. I'm super happy that you're tuning into the second webinar that is happening now. We are going to cover the topics around the tools. I will tell you more why I chose the word tools. And it's going to be about topics of dance and movement, plants and nature, and creativity and magic. So I can't wait to share more about that. But first of all, my name is Jennifer Nadia, and I'm super happy that I get to share more about those things because those are all topics that are very dear to my heart, that I have journeyed with for a long time. And I'm especially happy to show you how they intertwine now, how they are all linked together, as most topics, in my opinion, are anyway. I myself call myself a creatrix. I create my life daily anew the way I choose to. And I will talk a little bit more about that, what that means. I am a plant whisperer. I love working with plants. I love working with nature and with nature. And I am coaching people one-on-one. And I also guide embodiment practices, so movement practices, and different workshops with plants, movement, and meditation. Yeah, so I have a few offers that are happening in person that are actually going to happen very soon. And I have a few offers happening online. So just keep following my work. Follow me on Instagram, follow me on my newsletter if you find interesting what I do, and you will see where and which offer fits you. So today I'm going to take you a little bit on a journey through these three topics. The last webinar, the first one, which you can also watch with the link, was around the topics of the self, the body, and the emotion. So it was the foundations of kind of what we are built up on. What is the core of us? So we've established that, or especially unraveled that. Like, what am I not? And what am I really, and what is my truth, and really also feeling within the body. So that's another thing that is very important here. I will often invite you to tune into your body, and we will guide you into little meditations every now and then, or breath work, or like just breathing, because I think that's very important. Sometimes there is such high energy when we learn a lot that we forget to breathe. So every now and then I will invite you in that. And so this is a journey where you get to learn, but it's often like learning also means we remember something, right? So it's this moment where you get the chance to remember something that you have actually always known. It's like kind of opening a door within you that has always been there. You haven't even seen it. You didn't even know it exists anymore. And you open that up and you look inside and you're like, oh, I've known this all along, right? So also what is very important is this is only going to be a little insight. It's just going to be a brief touch on the topics. Obviously, in 1 hour or even less than that, I don't have time to fully cover the depth of all of these topics. I usually would also, I could cover a whole call, like 1 hour, 2 hour call on one topic alone. So I choose to give you a little insight so you get a little bit of an inspiration and also get something that you can take away from here. But if you want to really dive deeper into that, obviously it takes a bit longer. You can always check out my Instagram. I have created a few posts, written or reels, or just me moving, where you get some deeper inspiration and information around the topics. And very important, if you have any questions during the webinar, please put them in the chat and I will answer them. And if you have questions while you watch the replay, feel free to reach out to me via email or write something in the comment and I'll make sure to answer it. So thank you so much. So let's just for a moment start with closing our eyes. And then really start taking a few deep inhales. You can start counting to 7 inhales and really invite you that on every inhale, you start deepening the breathing a little bit more. So the inhale becomes longer and deeper. And if you want to, you can also put a hand on your lower belly and just feel that the breath is going directly into your lower belly. filling up your lower belly on the inhale. And on the exhale, letting your lower belly sink in again. And really feeling that this slowing down can happen while you breathe and while you focus on this breathing technique. Feeling that you're opening yourself up to receive information and guidance right now. And feeling also yourself opening up to surrender into this experience. And whenever you're ready, I invite you to open up your eyes again and come back to the space. Welcome back. So I've already shared a little bit that we're gonna work on the tools today. So why did I choose the topic tools? I actually don't really know, but for me, it's like if I want to work in a garden, for example, I need certain tools to be able to dig up the ground to plant my seeds. So this is kind of this, these topics that I will introduce, they have kind of the same effect. We have the foundation, which is our body, our emotions, and is our self. And now we have certain tools that we can use to get to a certain goal. And the goal where we want to get, that's the thing I will be talking about in the third webinar, which is happening in 2 weeks. And it's like this aliveness, this radiance, and this pleasure-filled life. That where you can also follow your purpose, right? So the tools are helpful measurements, are helpful things to bring you there. Yeah. And I only chose a few. There is many tools, and we all have different tools or like different techniques that we prefer and others we don't. And I chose the ones that I prefer and that I feel like I can speak a lot about because it's where I got taught in, or it's where I have a lot of life experience in it, right? We choose the topics where we have life experience. Also sometimes the painful life experience, which I will share as well. But it's this of like, it's just that things that are helpful, have been helpful in my life, and that I want to share with you. So take here whatever you desire. Take with you that which you find helpful, and the others you just leave. So I would like to start with dance and movement. And here I would like to start with a personal story. For me, sport or exercise I always connected that with something quite stressful. At a very young age, I started doing athletics because my mother was very much into it. And I think it was also a time I needed a little bit of push, obviously, as a child. I didn't really know what I wanted to do. So it was just like, just do something, right? And there were certain parts about athletics that I really enjoyed, and that was usually the socializing and getting to see my friends and also moving my body. But what I did not like was the competition part. When I was doing athletics, I had 3 times a week training and competitions nearly every weekend. I always was very stressed at competitions. I was super nervous of having to perform. I have a performance anxiety that I could handle quite well and hide away. So I don't think anyone noticed about it. But it didn't make me feel so good. I felt often quite stressed while training, but also while the competition was happening. Whereas socializing with my friends and talking with them, I felt really good, obviously. So for me, I learned, or I thought that sport is not my thing because it doesn't really satisfy me. It actually makes me often agitated, and agitation makes me angry and it makes me feel anxious. So I didn't really desire those parts of sport. So I needed a few years of like removing myself, not doing anything, and really establishing what is my connection to it, right? And in all of this, I discovered movement and dance. And here I have to say and add, for a long time in my life, I thought that I can't dance. I remember when I was 18 or around 18, I was at kind of a party, and that was the first time I danced. I was obviously drinking a little bit because I was too nervous. And I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. But for many years after that, I felt quite embarrassed because I felt thrown back into this thing of competition. Like, I need to look good. I need to move in a certain way. People will judge me when they see how I move. And it became an additional stress, right? Of looking pretty, looking good, moving in the right way. Do I get admiration and things like that? That was another few years of journeying that, and then I discovered this kind of dance style and dance parties, or rather dance groups, where you just move with your body. As in, you learn, maybe you don't even learn any choreos. Maybe you just move how your body desires to move. And I did some contemporary dance and some ballet classes, and it really helped me to stretch my body and to see the capacity of my body. But I also realized then I'm not good at learning choreos. Choreos is for me is really difficult. It's remembering things. It's like putting your mind. It feels so structured. It feels so um not stressful is not the right word, but it feels like so much I need to think about. Whereas if I just drop into the body, like as in, imagine you close your eyes and you just drop into the body and you just follow this movement your body desires to do. I was like, this feels pleasurable. So I started going more into spaces, and now you keep seeing my hand. This is just like, oh, you told me I can move this way, so I'll do it. So I went into spaces where this was possible, where I could move however I decided, or desired, better said. And through that, I discovered this thing of intuitive movement, which is we drop into the body and we listen to the body and we move from the body's desire instead of what the mind perceives and thinks as being good, looking good, or yeah, being valuable. You just move into from that. And there is a lot of layers you have to go through if you start doing that. You need to also start appreciating all the weird shaking and tremors and movement our body sometimes desires to do. And it doesn't always look pretty, let me tell you this, but there is such a beauty in it, especially if you find a group of people that doesn't judge you when you do that, that embraces you, and a space where you are embraced to move the way you desire to move. There is such healing in that. And if that feels a bit far-fetched, you can still do that at home. You can either put on your favorite song and go away from this thing of this is the way I should move to this music, and go into how do you want to show up today? How does your body desire to move today? And move from that space. There is so much more liberation in that, because we are not following certain steps anymore. We're not following a certain rhythm. Maybe you do follow a rhythm, but not a certain rhythm. And it becomes like just this thing of like more fun and pleasure, and a little bit like a child. A child doesn't worry, a child just does. So it's allowing this back into your life. Um, Allowing this slowness and this softness and like this pleasure and this fun. And it's like, yeah, it's super, super beautiful, and definitely some benefits that you can see from that is like you cultivate a beautiful relationship to your body, where you start listening and tuning into your body, first of all, but you also gift your body whatever it desires and needs. And you also, I already spoke briefly about that. For me, movement can become like a meditation. So it's away from something being stressful, for something being actually relaxing to your whole nervous system, to your body, to your emotions, to your thoughts, to your whole being. So this is the second benefit. It can become a relaxing thing of like, recentering yourself again and shaking off all that stress we've accumulated during our lifetimes or our day. And the third one is this pleasure, like this pleasure that is just flowing through us. This joy and pleasure that I spoke before, that we can cultivate again, that we can create space for again. Like, how beautiful is that if we create the space for pleasure and joy again, just by moving our body to music, or maybe no music, but just moving our body however it desires to move. Nothing else having to happen except movement. Like, how beautiful is that? Like, just take a moment, really take that in. How beautiful is that? And through this, I have this statement where I'm like, everyone can dance. We can't all be professional dancers, but we are all dancers and everyone can dance. And in my opinion, when you really drop into your body and move from your core, everyone looks really good when they're dancing because it just looks authentic. It looks true. It looks real. There is some kind of what is the word? There is some kind of magic to it. If someone really moves from the core of their body, it's captivating. You don't want to look away. Like, if you've ever been to a place and someone has been doing that, and I'm sure you have seen someone, it's very captivating. You kind of don't want to look away. It pulls us in because it speaks to our core, because our core desires the same. Our core desires to tap into that too. So what if we drop a little bit into that right now? So once more, I invite you to close your eyes and just take a few deep breaths. Like, really feeling everything that I have spoken about, feeling the truth about everything that I have spoken about, and also maybe feeling the things that you don't want to take with you right now, the things you just, I'll leave that behind. Take a few more breaths as well, just centering yourself. And I invite you to feel your body right now. Just feel, what sensations can you feel? Maybe you can feel the clothes on your skin. Maybe you can feel the ground you're sitting on. Just notice these external sensations that are there for a moment. And then turn inwards more. What sensations can you feel within your body? Like, maybe what emotions are present. Maybe you're hungry or your stomach is very full. Maybe there is a pressure, a warmth, or a cold feeling. Just notice anything that is present within your body right now. And if you're tapped into that and just connected with your body, I invite you to just start moving very softly and gently from your body. So you just follow any impulse your body is giving you in this moment, any desire your body has. And this can be as small as it is, as it gets. Maybe it's just the softest movement of your little finger. Or maybe the movement is also a bit bigger. What happens if you allow your body to move however it desires to move right now? And just feel that and allow that. And maybe also feel, what does it feel like? Giving your body this space to move. And no matter what the movements look like, try and not think about it or judge yourself. Just move. Just for a moment, allow it and feel. And it's interesting that this can even happen while there's no music being played, right? There is kind of, the body has a frequency, a vibration, a music on its own. It doesn't need anything else. Just opening up that space and let your body move. And then let the movement slowly become smaller and smaller until you come to a moment of stillness. Keep your eyes closed for now. Just notice what is present within your body right now. How does it feel? What sensations can you feel? And maybe what emotions are present for you right now. And with everything that is present, I invite you to come back to the space and just open your eyes very gently, but gaze at something else than the screen first. And let your eyes adjust to the light again, to the presence of the room. And whenever you're ready, come back to the screen. And I want to open up the second topic. Thank you for being with me and joining so far and listening and tuning in and learning. And the second topic is also one of my favorites. How else would it be? It's nature and plants. So I know this is quite a big topic, but for me, it holds such a key element in everything that we do. Because for me, nature is everywhere around us, everything and everywhere around us, but also everywhere and everything within us. Like, let that sink in. What if nature, no, not what if, nature is everything around you, everything and everywhere, and nature is also everything within you. So you are part of nature. And I would actually go so far and say it's a basic need and desire. It's a core desire of us humans to reconnect back to nature. It is something that in our society is often lost. We feel very disconnected from nature. We maybe go and have a walk in nature, and we might feel it for a glimpse of a moment, and sometimes maybe we feel it more often, but most people don't have this core connection with nature. It doesn't mean that we need to be in nature to have this connection. Ideally, this connection is with us and we feel it and it's present no matter what we do or no matter where we are. Even if you live in the midst of the city, you can be connected to nature. Right, and you might ask, how do you do that? Good question. For me, it's like a vibration, it's a frequency, it's a energy that is around us, and we can't always touch that and we can't always grasp that. And I will talk more about ungraspable things in the third topic. But it's this desire we have. And it once more here, I see it as this image of we just having to open the door, or actually here to take away the veil that is covering our eyes, that is covering our symbolic eyes. It's not just our eyes that have missed to see nature, but it's like uncovering the veil of our whole existence, of our whole body being, and realizing that this connection is actually still there, right? That's quite a big one. So what if we feel, breathe, taste, touch, and see nature everywhere we go? Everywhere we are, with whomever we are, we feel that we are connected with nature. And what would that bring to your life? How would your life be like then? And what universal knowledge and truth would you be able to tap into if you are connected to nature? And I'm not talking about knowledge and truth that you can perceive with your mind. And sometimes we can, yes, obviously. But I'm talking about knowledge and truth that we are more able to perceive with our whole being. So our energetical field, our emotions, our sensations, more than our minds. So if we tap into nature, we are reconnected back to that. We're reconnected back to that energy. And sometimes this deep understanding cannot even be put into words. As words or language, as we know it, is a very structured and very limited way of how we can communicate or explain things. And sometimes words are not enough. Let me tell you this, words are not enough, like actually often. So how can we connect with this big, massive thing of nature that is just everywhere, that we cannot grasp, that is not touchable, but it's just something that we trust? And for me, what helps there, or for me, is the first step to get there is plants. Plants, I call them the single entities that we can connect to reconnect ourselves to nature. Might have to say that sentence again. So plants are the single entities that help us to reconnect to nature so that we feel that connection again. And here there is thousands of different plants. There's thousands of like flowers, trees, herbs, grass, whatever else that is out there. And we can't study everything. Like, yeah, I mean, there is people who do, but we can't possibly study everything. And we also don't need to know everything about a plant to start working with it. So I just want to introduce a few plants here. Like, I'm going to talk deeper about one plant, but a few plants that I work with is lavender. I really deeply love that plant. Like, it smells delicious. The tea is divine. All the like creams that you can put on the skin are so good for your skin. I work also with frankincense, which is a resin from a tree. From the one I have is from Oman. Sorry, just had a blackout. I also work with sage. I love working with sage that actually grows here. So I try and use plants that grow in the area where I'm at, or plants that I really resonate with, like that I really feel like a call to work with them. So I like working with the normal plain sage that grows in Europe. Drinking it as tea, it's amazing. Burning it, or just having it as an energetical support in my field because it's very cleansing. I also started recently working with rose, which it's very new for me. And I mean rose as the truest form. So often we see roses and they're very overbred. They don't actually smell anymore and they don't break. Like a rose is a natural rose. They are very soft and fragile. If you want to pick it, the petals often fall off. The fragrance is so intense. I love working with her because she brings us deeper into this connection with love, this higher wisdom of love. And another plant that I work with, the last one I'm going to talk about, no, actually not the last. Yeah, the last one is cacao. I've just come back from Guatemala, and I had this deeper initiation and connection with cacao, like really knowing or learning about the plant. And her desire is very much to bring us back to nature. She wants to reconnect us to nature. So the way I work with cacao is in that way. So if work with her in a ceremony, this is her, let's say, task, is she's the ground, she's the mud to reconnect us back to nature. So there is plenty of things that I share about plants, and I didn't even talk about blue lotus yet, but there is plenty of it on my Instagram. So really go and check that out, because if I talk too much about plants here, you all get bored, or it's just going to be too much. But really, for a moment, everything that you've heard right now, close your eyes again and really feel yourself filtering through everything that I've spoken about, and really filter through it. And like, what are the things that you want to take away? And what are the things that you can let go of right now? You can maybe pick them up later, but right now it's like, I don't need to remember that. And then I invite you to imagine, and you can use your inner vision if that is dominant for you, or you can just feel yourself. I invite you to imagine that you are standing in some space, some place in nature. Maybe you can feel grass underneath your feet or the leaf. Maybe you can see some colors. Maybe you can feel nature just around you, and maybe you can also hear something. Just invite you just to start with your senses connecting to that space in nature which you are right now. No matter how soft that visualization, that imagination is, it is valid. No matter what you hear, feel, see, it is valid. So I just invite you, how do you feel right now in this own personal space in nature that you have created or has been created for you? How do you feel right now? And what happens if you breathe deeper? You imagine that you're breathing in and out with nature. So just imagine that. You're imagining that when you inhale, you're breathing in the energy either through your feet from the ground or through the air. You're breathing in the energy of nature. And on the exhale, you're creating like a circle. On the exhale, you're exhaling back to nature. So you're starting to create this connection, this circle and cycle between you and nature. And just notice, how do you feel with this connection? How do you feel being connected back in this soft and gentle way, in this imagination, right now and here? How do you feel being connected with nature? No matter how soft it is, how does it feel? And can you let go of that again, knowing that this connection is always going to be there for you, it's always going to be present, and right now you can let go of it. So you let go of this breathing, you let go of this imagination of this place in nature. You find yourself back where you have been sitting in front of the screen, having your eyes still closed, and just taking 2 or 3 more breaths Really noticing, how do you feel right now? And also opening yourself up for the next topic, which is going to be the last topic, by the way. And whenever you're ready, you can slowly open your eyes again. And welcome back. Yeah, and I want to move to the third and last topic for today, which is creativity and magic. And I have been speaking a little bit on Instagram and Facebook about that. And also speaking about that magic, especially, is quite a controversial word. There's a lot of believers and non-believers because it gets depicted in very different and weird ways sometimes in movies, and especially fantasy movies. So the concept of magic and creativity that I want to introduce here and today is something that is not really graspable. Like, what if magic is something that is not graspable? What if magic is similar to nature, actually all around us, everywhere, all the time, and it's just an energy, a force that is ever present? So we can't touch it. It's not touchable. And we can't explain it that well because things that we can't touch and we can't grasp, things that are just there, energetical, as something, as a force with outside of ourselves, as in ourselves, we often don't really have words. That's the thing I explained before. Words are sometimes missing. But what if it is everywhere around you all the time? What if magic is just something you can open yourself up to? And this time it's not a veil that you have to uncover, but this time it's like this thing of like, I open myself towards magic. Magic is a possibility in my life. I open myself up for creativity. Creativity is part of my life. So it's not something you do. Creativity and magic is not something you do. I mean, you can do it, but it is something you are. It's a state of being. It's a presence. It's just is. Like, take that in. It just is. It's not something you do. It just is. What does that do to you if I tell you this? It just is. So it's this thing of the unknown. It's the void, if you have ever heard about that. If you haven't, leave it for now. It's the unknown and the void. It's the thing that we trust in. It's the thing we surrender to. We trust that it's there. We trust our lives towards that force, and we surrender towards it. Creativity doesn't mean creating an artwork and painting. Creativity is part of that, but creativity is much bigger. Creativity is colorfulness, it's freedom, it's an expression, it's a being, it's like a state of being again. So you can devote yourself, your life, and yourself actually towards a life of creativity and magic. And what that will look like, we will tap into in a second. But obviously, like I said, it's just a small tapping in that we're doing today. But what that possibly could look like, we will tap into that in a second. So I invite you, and this is going to be a short one right now because for me it's more important that we experience that. I invite you to close your eyes once more. And just for a moment, let everything that I spoke about, because I spoke about quite some maybe perceived intense topics, for a moment, just I invite you to just feel what is happening within your body, within your emotions, within your mind when you heard me speak about all of that. So what is present in this moment? And I invite you to just open yourself up now. This is an experiment. Nothing is going to happen. But I invite you to open yourself up ever so slightly right now towards magic and creativity. Maybe it's this tiniest gap that you can open. Maybe it's a full-on blowing open. But what if you open yourself up for magic and creativity right now? As in, these are energies of forces within your life. These are things that your life is actually based upon. They're around you everywhere you go, all the time, with everyone you are with. Can you allow that opening ever so slightly that it happens right now? And I'm very curious, how does that feel? How does that feel for your body when this opening is happening? How does that feel for your mind to expand towards that being possible? To expand towards that being reality or part of reality? Because we never know what reality is, but what if that is part of reality? How does that make you feel? And what would your life look like if you base your life upon creativity and magic? The forces of creativity and magic. What would your life look like? Look like if you base it upon that? Just feel. Maybe you see an image, maybe you just have an expansion, a feeling, a sensation. What does it feel like? And notice what is happening in your body right now. And you imagine that once more. What emotions are there? What sensations are there? What is present for you right now? And just take that in. Be in this state for 2 more breaths. Before you let go of that for right now, knowing that you can tap into it whenever you want to, but right now, let go. Let go of creativity and magic. Let go of focusing on that, on feeling the sensations. Just feel your present again, back in the room that you're in, sitting on whatever you're sitting on, keeping your eyes closed for 1 more breath, feeling yourself center again, and open your eyes. I'm very curious to hear how people are feeling at this point. So whenever you reach this part, please let me know. And we are slowly going to finish off. So thank you so much for having been here. I just want to share 2 more things before we go. First of all, the third and last webinar is coming up on the 6th of March. So in 2 weeks' time, it will be based upon the integration, bringing it all together. It will be about aliveness, radiance, and pleasure, and following your purpose. So it's going to tie everything together. And the second thing, obviously, all of those webinars and tapping into these topics, as I've mentioned before, it is very briefly. We're only covering the surface of everything. So there is a higher reason why I do it. There's a higher reason behind everything. And I have created this beautiful course that is going to be 12 weeks long. So we have plenty of time to tap into each of those topics individually. There will be one topic per week. So we dive one topic into the self, we dive one topic into the body, one into emotion, and so forth. And after 3 weeks, because in my opinion, it's very important that we learn with slowness and softness, we will have an integration week. So we will have a week where you can catch up, where you can continue doing the practices and the meditations, where you can reach out for questions, or you can just have a week where you have a break. And then it continues after this. So I have the next 3 topics are coming up, another integration week. And then the next 3 topics and the last integration week. So in total, it's going to be a 12-week, a 3-month program around the radiance, like tapping into your radiance, feeling aliveness again, and connecting with pleasure and finding your purpose. So it's coming out from feeling stuck and lost in life, which, come on, every one of us has been there, and feeling this thrive again, like feeling this energy, this aliveness, this pleasure, this radiance, and feeling like everything is getting magnetized towards you. And with all of that, you can move towards your purpose. And what is really important for me is not that you just learn things. It's like that you embody them, that you become them, so that you move out of this course really feeling there is changes happening in your life. Like, I really want you to feel that there is changes happening in your life. And I actually don't just want you to feel it, I want you to see that there's changes happening. So for me, that's why integration is important, to tie it all together. And that's why it's also important for you to watch the next webinar, because it's gonna tie topics together so that you then through that can move into life, feeling this innate thrive, this new force, this new energy. And you all have this, you have these beautiful tools with you, these new inspirations, these new insights. So it's going to be a journey, like I said, and I have this special offer for people being in the webinar or also tuning in, watching the replay. I have this beautiful offer where if you book your spot on the course, and it's going to be a quite good valued course for this time, because it's the first time I'm doing this course. So there's going to be a special price only for you. And next time I'm doing it, the price will go up. So this time I have code, which is full radiance. All letters are large, like full moon, but radiance behind it. Full radiance is the code. If you book your spot until Sunday, you get 20% off. Of the already discounted price, you get an additional 20%. So this is only an offer for people watching this replay. And I'm super excited. Thank you for having been here. Thank you for everything that you have, your presence that you shared, and the questions, for asking the questions. And yeah, if you have any more questions for the course, obviously look at the website that I will link. Feel free to reach out and ask me. Feel free to look at my Instagram and look at everything that I've shared so far. And I can't wait to see you again in the next webinar or on my course or somewhere else in my space. Thank you so much and have a beautiful rest of your day.